Hello, everyone. Hello. Hey, I'm Darnell.
And I'm Angela.
And welcome to Garrison
House.
Okay.
Unplugged.
Well, casual.
Casual Sunday.
Casual Sunday and a little bit of everything else. First of all, I didn't post it yet. We had to give, today would have been a very special day if my sister would have been alive. Today, she would have been 41. So my dear baby sister, one of my baby sisters, she passed away 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years?
It was 2 years ago, suddenly. Actually, a year and a half ago. It was, but it was a sudden death, and but
I guess it was longer than that.
yeah. Well, it feels that way because time is flying, and that was 2 years ago, and but she left behind. She did leave behind her daughter. Her daughter is 23, and I'm trying to find her picture, but if I don't find her picture, it doesn't matter. But yeah, we are today that. But anyway, while I get that together, we want you all to make sure that you subscribe to our platforms. We want you to share. We are starting to post back on our Facebook, our more, as I say, tamed editions, where we're not doing a lot of the politics stuff because Facebook, of course, likes to have fun with us.
Yes, and also, I guess I can't share my screen, but also you have on YouTube, you're uploading more on our YouTube channel. So if you want to go to the YouTube channel, you can to find us. Yay, YouTube.
And, it's showing up. Your iPad is finally showing up. We can bring that up. Everybody see that? Okay. It's interesting. Before we started, we had problems. So yeah, you can go to our YouTube channel and just take a
see all the people I also subscribe to.
Hey, she subscribes to quite a few people, being that she has Angie's Drama Room. She has her platform. Tell about your platforms while I grab this picture.
I do it's called Angie's Drama Room, and I do drama reviews on Asian dramas, romantic dramas, mystery fantasy dramas, costume dramas, just my review on those. And here are some of my topics I have done, and most recently was my fave so far. Well, not my fave so far, but Marry My Husband, Japan. There is a Korean version. I did a review on that. My weekly roundup, you can see there. Also, you could if you go on Cashmere TV, if you've seen us on Cashmere TV, I'm actually on Cashmere TV also. Angie's Drama Room is on Cashmere TV. You can see those also. And then, so that's what I do. That's what's also one of my platforms that I do. So you can see all the things that I have done so far. So yeah, if you want a little bit more about that, I'm posting more later versions on Cashmere TV. But if you want something recently, you can come to Angie's Drama Room on YouTube, and you can see my most recent ones on that.
Yeah. So yeah, there's my little sister. She passed away today. She would have been 41. So she would have been 41. And it was January 27th was her homegoing. She passed on January 10th. So yeah, she has passed. But you know what? It's always good to celebrate someone's life. And we were her guardians. So we made sure everything she needed was taken care of.
Yes.
Through her, we were more than just, I was more than a sibling. I was her guardian. I made sure she had the proper care, the proper places to stay. And it was good. Did it hurt? Yes. It hurt because I remember the day she was born. So I remember the evening, 11:59. We came back here to the house to get my grandma. My grandma literally, this is a funny story about her birth. My grandma was literally, we rushed my mom to the hospital. So she comes home to her, where we live, not too far from here. My mom comes home. She drove home. Her water broke. She was at her friend's house. Her water broke. So she drove her 1979 brown Cutlass Supreme with the tan leather top. I never forget that day. She comes home. She sits on the toilet and says, my water broke. My grandpa gets to the house real quick, gets me and my mom to the hospital. Then we get back here. My grandma is in the bathtub taking a bath. This is like 10 o'clock at night. She's getting her makeup on. We're like, who's going to see you?
Grandma want to be sharp for her baby.
She put on her Sunday best stockings. I'm like, who's going to see you? It's like, in my mind, I'm 14, like, who's going to see you at 1, 2 in the morning? But she got dressed up to the birth of my sister, and it was just a great day. We missed everything. By the time we got there, my mom already gave birth. We got there on the 28th at around about 12:30 in the morning, because my grandma was getting, I had some good stories with my grandma. My grandma was one of the women who would get fully dressed up to go on a road trip. So what we would do is this with my grandma. We say, okay, we're gonna leave. We really want to leave at around about 3 a.m., but we're gonna tell her we're leaving at 10 p.m. because we knew if we told her 3 a.m. we wouldn't leave, because my grandpa did it. He told her the truth once. We were supposed to have left at 3. We didn't leave till 7. So we learned, oh yeah, Grandma, we're gonna be on the, people say, well, that's lying. No, we just knew that she operated on a different time than we did. And so we would tell her 10 so we can get out at 3. But anyway, that was some of the things, dealing with some of the fun things in life that you think about as you get older. And
Things
it's really
you find at Garrison House.
Yeah, things, yeah. And it all happened in this house. That's what's the funny part about it. We're literally in the house where a lot of these fun moments happen. So yeah, Garrison House has always been fun. And we're going to our ad drop, because AM Total Being Fitness is really helping me out a lot. This week was really an easy week for me. I didn't really do any training because I had to work on Thursday. They redid my DEXA scan and VO2 max, and I've had improvements. I don't have my paperwork in front of me. However, I had more improvements. The test showed my resting, showed that I actually am now in fat burning mode when I go to sleep, which I'm like, yes. So when I'm resting, I'm now going from whatever they said, but now I burn calories and fat in my sleep. So I've had my DEXA scan this past week. It can be kind of interesting because it showed I went up on my DEXA scan, but I'm down on my gravity. I don't know how this thing works, but my weight on there was good. Everything is getting much better. So I'm not getting just fit. I'm getting fit, but I'm also getting healthier. And so now I think when I go back this week, I get my, they really want me to start watching my calories. But anyway, real talk, being fit is not just about what you see in the mirror. It is about how you feel, and AM Total Being Fitness gets that. They're not guessing. They're using medical grade testing and patent pending systems to track your real progress. We're talking about, like I said, the VO2 max, the metabolic testing, the DEXA scan, that really works. You sit on the table for about 10, 15 minutes. It scans your body. You don't sit, you lay on the table. It's about total wellness, body, mind, and even spirit, and it works. I've been doing it since September. I'm feeling better. I am actually starting to move better. I'm feeling better. I'm waking up better. You want to see what they can do for you? Just scan that QR code on the screen, or you can also give them a call at the number that's also on the screen. I'm going to bring that back up for you. So the number is, let's bring that up. Here we go, 248-480-0131, or you may email them at info@A as in Apple, M as in Mary, T as in Tom, B as in boy, fit.com, and let them know you heard it on Garrison House Podcast, and they will help you out. You can visit their website at A as in Alpha, M as in Mary, T as in Tom, B as in boy, fit.com for those who are listening to the audio. And take a listen. Go over there. Let them work with you, run the testing, and see where you at. You know, the testing doesn't hurt to get tested. It's not going to cost you anything. Now, they will present the program to you, and it's up to you to take the program or do something you want to do, but at least go in there and get yourself scanned and see where you're at. I can tell you from my last visit to the doctor, we talked about this last week, I've never seen my doctor smile that big since I've been going to him. I mean, even my doctor's like, you need to keep going. So we're like, okay, doc, we need more tips. We need more tips in our tip jar because this is not, it's worth it though. And one of the things, you're going to pay for good health now or bad health later. So usually bad health costs you more than good health. Right. So you can say, oh, I used to be in Amway. One of the things my uplines used to always tell me is you're going to pay for, and I've already told you, good health now or bad health later. And even when I was in Amway, there was a multi-pack vitamin I used to take. She took that thing one day and she was wired.
It's so long ago, I don't remember that.
She was wired. And then they had, back in the day, they had a cleaning, a pre-wash that would gag you, and with a spray.
That was back right when Amway was first started. They had some good products and they actually worked. They had a ring around a collar spray that you spray on, but it cleared that ring around that collar. But then as time goes on, they started diluting stuff, and then we started talking about the ozone layer and started doing stuff.
Yeah, they took
take a lot of that chemicals out. So it still did it, but it wasn't as crisp as you would have thought.
Right. So, unlike that, fitness. Guess what? Fitness is not gonna. If you start working, you're not gonna have to worry about it coming back if you don't. It'll come back if you start working principles. Mm-hmm. So it's always important to get your health together. Mm-hmm. Get it together. Mm-hmm. I mean, even our pastor made a joke about it, but we'll leave that one alone. So yeah, get it all together. And, and men, it's very important. I'm going to talk to my brothers for a second since we're here. Make sure you know where you are at health. Don't say, well, don't be so masculine until you're afraid to go to the doctor. I go to the doctor. I'm not afraid to say I go. I don't miss my visit. If I'm not able to make it, I'll reschedule for the next week. I get my blood work done. Don't be afraid to get yourself in fit. Don't be afraid to go to the doctor. The first phase you want to do is, if you haven't been to a doctor in a while, go to the doctor. I know some men are scary. 2, get on the line, get with AM Total Fitness. If you're in Michigan, even if you're not in Michigan, get online with them so they do telehealth. So it's just not restricted to the Detroit area. Find out where you're at, and then you should be able to get your health in order, because we want y'all to live, especially if you're parents. So get yourself together. Now, I gotta play this video because it's me re-cue it here. Let me see if I can get this iPad to. Well, we're gonna hear it. Let me let you hear it. Here we go.
On the bill, but maybe you could help me out. We got a bill, and then we realized that you guys didn't have our insurance, so we sent you the insurance, and it looks like the bill went up.
It went up?
Yeah, the first bill we got without the insurance was $600, and then the second one was almost $1,300.
Okay. Yeah, so that the first invoice you received, that's a discount that you receive if you're uninsured. So you're not eligible for the discount since you are insured. And so the bill was $2,342.14. We billed your insurance. Your insurance only paid $1,078.85.
Can I go back to the discount without the insurance?
No, so you're insured, so you're not eligible for the discount.
If I go cancel my insurance, am I eligible for the discount?
You don't want to do that.
No, sir, because we checked eligibility and you do have active coverage for data service.
Oh, I needed to cancel it before I got the service to get the discount.
You're only eligible for the discount if you're uninsured.
Okay, so I'll get cheaper health care if I'm uninsured.
One part that's coming up.
If you're uninsured, you're eligible for the discount, correct?
Is this common? Like I pay for insurance and I end up paying more out of pocket because I pay for a premium? That's wild.
This is just a new law that started 2024, AB 716, and the law is if you receive a discount if you're uninsured.
Okay. Now, in the comment section, people are blaming federal. That's not a federal law. It's AB 714, which means Assembly Bill number 714. The federal government doesn't use the term assembly. So that's a Commonwealth state law. So that leaves you with either California or the New England states. Those are Commonwealth states. And I did look it up, and I believe it was California that did Assembly Bill 714. And the thing is, so many people are blaming the federal government. And I'm one of those that are like, everything's not your federal government. I mean, our car insurance skyrocketed. And it wasn't the president's fault. It was the insurance company raising rates because people are doing. I was just watching a video here where somebody ran the insurance fraud, ramming the back of cars. It's like you need a dash cam nowadays because people are out here driving crazy. I was almost in a car accident last week again because some idiot on the freeways bobbing and weaving. He came within 6 inches. If I didn't hit my brakes, he would have took my fender off the same side that just got fixed. So, and it was literally like the first 24 hours with our new insurance company. That wouldn't have been a good impression. So, but in the case of the health insurance thing, that had to do with an assembly bill in your state, which regulates your insurance. So many people think the federal government regulates private insurance. That's the federal government only does the government level, not the private.
One of the things about when we come to Obamacare and Affordable Care Act, which is Obamacare back in the time, Obamacare really is catastrophic insurance, just in case something happens insurance. And basically, it's a high deductible, high premium, or low premium rate. And most times people, during the time when people were enrolling into Obamacare, they were just enrolling into it because they wanted to see what it was about, first of all. Mm-hmm. And people were using it. And so insurance companies do not make money when you use the insurance. Yeah. And so a lot of companies was dropping the insurance. So then they had to change it a lot. But basically and it's just a high deductible insurance plans just to say that you had insurance in order to say that. And what it was too was the fact that the way it worked for commercial insurances was that they had to have certain things covered in it, period, because that's what the law passed. And it had to have women care. All insurance, even if you were a single male, or you had to have women care, you had to cover women care, and it had to be covered no matter what. And then it had to cover pre-existing conditions. The way insurance companies did that's where that high deductible came in. Some people were getting these $10,000 deductible insurances, and the premium was only maybe $50, $60 as a single person. So the $10,000 technically was covering by the time you hit that deductible, and then the stuff kicked in, that could be 3, 4, 5 months down the line. So if you didn't know you were diabetic, or if you knew you were diabetic and you got insurance, then you just had to pay the deductible amount of the deductible. So that's kind of what it is, which is catastrophic insurance. Just in case something happened, you had insurance, and it's just what it was. So that's one of the things about Obamacare, and that's the reason why costs went up, premiums went up, because now it had to cover all this stuff. And so private insurance, that's where federal comes in when it came to the private insurance. They had to have these stuff covered. I remember when I first started, right before Obamacare, I worked with an agency, and they offered that's not a premium. I can't think of the name they called it at this point in time, but a rider. They offered a maternity or a women care rider, but I didn't take it. I just took the basic care. Because it would cost me a little bit more, and that's what it was. That's kind of how insurances worked. A lot of people, like this one here, this gentleman here said he had his insurance, American. He said he had a bill. He went to the ER. He said it was for high blood pressure, which, okay. And so he had $17,000 in labs, $11,000 in ER visit he said he was in there for 2 hours. He had $800 for physical therapy and OT. Now that one, the $800 for physical, I don't know why they brought that in there. I have no idea why they had him go see a physical therapist and OT. Then you had $4,400 for blood cultures. And so, and his whole bill was $41,000. My out-of-pocket max was $4,400. And then of course they billed the $40,000 to the insurance. Now, first of all, it does sound like it's a high amount. It does sound it. He has itemized billing right there. But this also has to do probably what state you live in. Okay, what state you live in. The cost of living in that state must be really, really high. And this could be a private hospital. Private hospitals do itemize billing. I had a procedure done, and they itemized the bill. I mean, and usually sometimes if they give a total, they say this whole bill would have cost $20,000 for this procedure, and then you pay your whatever you have, the deductible plus your 20%, and then you pay that much. This one, they itemized each and every item. They even itemized the anesthesia that they took. They itemized each and every item. And so so it was 20% on each and every item that I had to pay. So I ended up still paying a lot of money. So that's kind of how it is. And I kind of believe it, but they didn't say what state he lived in. They were probably running tests. Hopefully he didn't have high blood, heart attack. They might have tried to do that. Going to the hospital for high blood pressure. I mean, it sounded, probably came down to it. That's probably what it was. However, that's kind of, it's just also based on the state he lived in and the cost of living in that state. Sometimes other states are high. Especially when you talk about if you live in Hawaii, Alaska, if you live in California, the Dakotas, things in that nature, their cost of living is very high. So it's possible that he did get this bill, but that's kind of how it is. The other gentleman that the person was on the phone, I saw this a long time ago, but if you didn't have insurance, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you know, you're thinking that you're being honest, but that's going back, knowing your benefits. I would look and say, now they stated, now this is what came to my mind too. They stated that they checked it saying that he had eligibility. So they would have already done that in the beginning before this was his daughter. I think his daughter got into an accident, I believe. And so, they transported her through an ambulance to the hospital. And so that's kind of where it was. And so they would have they would have checked anyway prior to see if she had insurance.
And there it is, right there, you say ambulance. AB 716 was to eliminate surprise billing for ground ambulance service in California by preventing patients from being charged more than their in-network cost sharing amount of these services, even when the ambulance provider is out of network. Therefore, she said it because she heard the whole thing. It was an ambulance situation. Now, there's some things in here AI says that is not true. A lot of times, your state does have some oversight over your private plan. I know it says here that it doesn't, but they do. AI is not 100% correct.
I mean, yeah, the state can regulate just like a federal. If you're talking about the Obamacare regulating having a woman care rider, the state can regulate how what they can put in the insurance.
They license the insurance company to operate in that state to begin with. So when I saw AI at the bottom say what it said, exemptions, like the state licensed insurance companies. So that's what happened. It was an ambulance transfer. So it was California then, AB 716 Assembly Bill. But in the comment sections, as I stated, people were saying, it's the president, it's the Republicans, it's the Democrats, it's Obama. It wasn't. It was the Assembly.
Basically, they eliminated the ambulance charge.
Right. They flat rated it for non-insurance at $600. And then when they sent, that's an expensive ambulance. Was she airlifted? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's expensive.
I don't think she was airlifted. I think it was just an ambulance.
So basically, the 600.
And it could have been a private ambulance. It probably wasn't part of the hospital. Could be. It's California.
Yeah, we know about California.
So what do you? I mean, that's kind of what you expected.
Aren't we still insured? No, we're not insured under California anymore, are we? Our health insurance?
No, we're uninsured with Michigan.
Right, but I mean at one point we had Blue Cross Blue Shield of California that tripped people out. What? Even though it's Michigan, it's in network because we had Blue Cross Blue Shield of California and they actually had it on our cards.
Oh.
And it confused everybody. Said just put it through, it's a Blue Care network. It's fine. So
Blue Cross Blue Shield Network. Blue Care
but
Network
it was just the company who she works for is based in California, so it had of California in there. So we know about California insurance. But yeah, California is very special when it comes to their insurance. And it's important to know your benefits. A lot of people, they'll say, oh, well, I did this, I did that, and my rate seemed this. I didn't understand insurance until I got older. One of the things that when I first started to work for Force, before everybody started talking about, making more money, the number one thing my grandparents would say, get a job that has good insurance. Because when we were growing up at 18, guess what happened to you? You got kicked off your parents' insurance. So you had no choice but to find, if you weren't continuing to college, you were off your parents' insurance. And so you had to get a job. The whole focus we had then was, I need a job that has good benefits or enough benefits for my age. Mm-hmm. So which included basic dental, basic vision, and some health. That's all I needed. And my insurance was relatively low at my first job. So we were taught to get a job that had benefits because you're off your parents' insurance. And that's what you need. Today, it's like there's nothing to get young people off their parents' insurance until 26. So yeah, you're paying higher rates because now children are on, if they're still at home, they're not married, they're still in their parents' policies.
And one of the things about adding children, it doesn't matter if you have 1, 5, 10 children, the premium still stays the same. It's family. Mm-hmm. It's self and family. So we only have one daughter. We have one daughter. And so no matter if I would have had 5 kids, 6 kids, my premium would still have been the same. It's like, so you kind of feel like, once you just start adding more people to your insurance, but that's how it is. And that's one of the things I think they should have changed. Well, at least change that. Should I have paid? I guess they don't expect children to have health conditions that will cause you to, for a higher thing. So technically, you're not really assuring the children. You're just assuring. It's just a whole premium thing.
And also, it's just in case. I mean, they want even the same thing when it comes to anything with insurance. I mean, not only know your benefits on health, your benefits on mobile car insurance. I know we talk about health. But even your car benefits, what kind of coverage do you have on your full coverage? She went through the benefits on our car and she said her car is barely driven. Why do we have all these extra things that we don't need on this car? It's not an everyday car. So my car has pretty much everything, the car rental rider, a couple other, because she doesn't drive her car. We still have insurance through we got to get our child to use that up. Because even your cell phone company, believe it or not, has towing benefits. Some cell phone companies offer roadside assistance, even if you're still paying on your car. So know what you have on your our. If you still have a car note, you also have roadside on your car note. So there's situations where I think I've had to go to our car note towing one time because we used up all our roadside through our cellular provider. And unfortunately we had to go through them, but it was good. So
one of the things talking about we talk about car, if you have a older model car and you still paying a note on it, I suggest get Car Shield.
or whichever one is out, because we're about to get it.
Well, I don't know. That's because that's all I hear out there. But they have those where you repair insurances. I suggest you get those because I tell you the truth. The repair alone on my daughter's car in the last 3 years is ridiculous. And so, I really don't suggest get a used car either, at least financing a used car. I really don't suggest that, but
it is what it is. But we've learned that we're paying more for. We've actually put a lot of money in her vehicle, and she drives a lot. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie. When I was her age, I did the same thing. Mm-hmm. I was driving 70,000 miles a year on my car. because you're young. It's like it's fun, but at my young, I was still at home when I was her age. So all I had to do, I had my job. And yeah, I took Telegraph Road, which is US 24 here. I said, let me see how far it goes south. Took me all the way to Toledo. I said, let me see how far this road goes. Oh, okay, that's nice. So I found out where all the roads went, where they ended, how far the road goes north, how far it goes south. And that's pretty much what I did. I would ride around and just cruise around and then just see things. But back then, gas was 79 and 99 cents a gallon. So you could drop $10 and fill up your tank.
One of the things we're talking about, knowing your benefits, we talked about PBMs, and you've probably seen or heard a lot about what's going on in PBMs, but title companies, do you think your house really costs $300,000? No. Or do you think when you sign your deed, do you know it's a title company you're going through? So everybody goes through some form of thing. But anyway, prescription coverage. Let's talk about prescription coverage for a minute here, and how a prescription works. So you're talking about so the way a prescription works. You have formulary lists. Okay, you have a list of, if you get your drugs on this list, you can go to if doctor prescribes on this list, you can go to the pharmacy and pick it up, and you're good to go. Boom, you got your drugs. But if your doctor prescribes something that is outside your formulary list, then it comes into maybe an exception, which probably means that you need a prior authorization in order to get it. Right. Prior authorizations are not that difficult. You may see, you may hear, you may talk about, you may think about it, but prior authorizations are not that difficult to get. There is a standard that PBMs have to, or whoever does the prior authorization has to do. There's a standard. So if your doctor stated that they did a prior authorization on Monday, it's been 2-3 weeks later, they haven't heard nothing from them, then it is possible that it's still sitting there, because either A, they did not do it, or they said they did it, or something happened, or they something. Or B, they got a notice, but they didn't answer the notice. So, and then you would also get something in the mail letting you know what is the status of your prior authorization. So if you didn't get something in the mail, then that means that it's something that you need to call the insurance and figure out what is going on. Again, it's not that difficult to do. Now, I've seen on social about some people saying that Kennedy is trying to eliminate prior authorizations from insurances. Well, he can only go through Medicaid and Medicare. Right. That's kind of where it is. But most times, again, it's not that difficult. It's not. If you stay on the formulary list, now there are some drugs that are on the formulary list. However, it may need a prior authorization, such as these diet drugs. These diet drugs. They're part of the formulary. However, it may need a prior authorization to make sure that you're qualified to get it. So insurance companies are not automatically going to give it to you. What happened was, way back when, a few years ago, everybody remember Ozempic. Okay, so Ozempic was actually FDA approved for only type 2 diabetes. Okay, but what happens is, because insurance companies says, hey, yeah, this is actually a good drug. This helps lower our patients' diabetes, A1C levels. So yeah, they were paying for it. And so what happens was, doctors were prescribing the drug for even people who were not having type 2 diabetes, because it was causing also weight loss. So they were prescribing it. So now what happened is, the insurance companies got wind and were like, hey, whoa, wait a minute now. You're saying you're getting this drug supposed to be for type 2 diabetes, but you don't have it. We don't show nothing showing that you had it. So now insurance companies require you to get a prior authorization to say, yes, I have type 2 diabetes. Yes, I can have Ozempic. But some insurance companies do not pay for weight loss medications, which would have been the alternative, would have been Wegovy, which is the same as the Ozempic, with same active ingredient. So some insurance companies doesn't pay for weight loss medications, which our insurance doesn't pay for weight loss medications, but they'll pay for those ones, the GLPs for type 2 diabetes. They'll pay for those. So that's kind of where prior authorizations are. if you don't qualify it, you at least have to start. You have to try something first. Sometimes it means you have to try something first.
Yeah,
you have to
therapy.
run step therapy, and yes, but then there's also other reasons for other drugs you may have to try. And sometimes it means that you may have to make sure you run tests to make sure that you are able to get it. If you go see a the gastro says, okay, you have Crohn's disease, or they say you have your ulcerative colitis. As long as they try the standard method of treatment first, then you can go into the biologics, especially medications. But that, I mean, again, prior authorizations are not, it's not what you call, it's not that difficult. Now, medical prior authorizations may be a little bit different because you, if you're getting a medical treatment, yes, medical prior authorizations may be a little bit different. You have to make sure that you qualify to get this treatment. But most likely it's a condition if you're in the hospital, and if you're in the hospital, whatever is under your medical treatment is possibly that you're getting all treatment that's possible.
Yeah, that's why you gotta know your benefits. See, that's one of the things I like about when we share this, because you talk about title companies. Most people, if you ever never bought a home, we bought one. The paperwork is about that thick.
And they had their own
and you're
fees in
signing, you're signing, feels like you're signing all day. And you meet we met at the title company when we purchased our first home.
Right. It's like the mediator. It's like, that's pretty much what.
Between the real estate agent, the bank, which in some cases, the lending company is a servicer for the real bank. Mm-hmm. So you're saying for XYZ bank, but they're not really the one, they're the servicer. So they're PBM. Right. And that's a form of a PBM that collects the money for the bank, and then the bank keeps selling, the PBMs or the finance, the loan servicer keeps getting bought and sold, but that bank still gets their money. They never change the bank. But anyway, we're gonna move to this here. This has been an interesting week. We lost 3 people this week. We lost.
What? I don't think that's
Ozzie.
That's an AI version, because that's not him.
That's Ozzie. That is real. That's a real picture of Ozzie.
No, that's AI.
Okay, even if it's AI.
No, that's not him.
Well,
it's his likeness.
It's a likeness. If it's AI, it's AI. But Ozzie Osbourne, we lost Ozzie. But the one that we lost Hulk Hogan. The one that hit me the hardest is Malcolm Jamal Warner. Malcolm, being the fact that we're essentially the same age. We're 1970s babies. Malcolm was the one that really hit hard. That one took the wind out of me for a few minutes. It also hit a family member hard of ours who acted alongside with him on The Residence. He was one of my cousins, a recurring extra on The Resident. I'll share that here. It hit him. He did a really good post about how they were together, how he was a mentor to him, and yeah, it hit hard. And I didn't know he was a musician. Everybody says, well, he's a musician. I said, I did not even know he was a musician.
I mean, that's what he did after. I mean, I knew that. It's not like he was a well-known, that was well-known. He just did clubs and things like gigs.
And I think he did some, I got to find out from my cousin if he did something with him. Hulk Hogan, a lot of people say he died 10 years to the day of his rant that posted about him using the hard R for the N-word. But it gets me is when he passed, there was some serious, we got
it doesn't matter if it was a hard R for the N-word. He just said the N-word. There's no difference.
Now, let me break this down for those I read posts. People are like, some people are celebrating this man's death. They're saying they're glad he's this, they're glad. And they're saying, well, he was a MAGA, da-da-da. It's like, first of all, don't be celebrating like that, somebody passing. I mean, in our world as Christians, we pray for the family. If you never sat and watched a loved one pass away, you never been in that front row and having to cry and tear about that loved one passing. All 3 of these men have families. All 3 of these men have families. And all their family right now are grieving. And you're up here, there's even some people celebrating Malcolm's passing. Ozzie called himself the Prince of Darkness. It's rumored that he received the gospel, but that's whatever. But we need to stop celebrating, being negative about people and their passing.
One of the things about Christians, even just watching people on posting, they're saying, I'm a Christian, but I'm like, you're not. It's about the love that you show a person. And one thing about Hulk Hogan, even if he had that rant from 10 years ago, he did get baptized, and about a year and a half ago. And so if you say you're a Christian, then you know when you baptize, that sin has gone in the water with it and never came back up. Because you have now you give your heart to the Lord. So I mean, so you can't really, that's where forgiveness comes in. Now, even if the rant was on, whatever he said, it was probably ridiculous. But I noticed a lot of people also get past to whoever they want to get past to.
Kirk Franklin showed enough cussed out somebody, and
y'all gave him a pass, saying, "Oh, he should be saying that," stuff like that. I mean, you give passes to whoever you want to get past to. We know our previous president. He said some off color remark, but they gave him a pass, but that's kind of how it is. But again, he could, people have words. We all say words. If words were going to get us thrown in jail, everybody would have been in jail right by now.
Right.
They tried to throw YSL Young Thug in jail because of his lyrics, but again, if we all said stuff that we wanted to say, which is off color remarked, then we all probably would have been found our way somewhere. They could have thrown us all in jail. But again, if he apologized. Year and a half ago, he got baptized. Mm-hmm. The man passed away, knowing the Lord.
Right.
What more can we offer? I mean, you still want to put him in hell because he made that stupid remark back then.
And it's amazing how we remember the bad in people, mm-hmm. and where God will forgive us. We can't forgive. Now, I got another one here I show thing, but it's just like people are upset with Cosby because of stuff. Cosby is hurting right now. People don't even get it. Everybody you see in there is like family to him. All of them, everybody. That's the cast of the Cosby Show. They're like family to him, and he still that was his heart. They said that reports said that Bill Cosby was literally hurting because Malcolm was actually one of his heart. It was like Malcolm
was like
and
an
Enos
actual
was
son.
So close to each other before his son was brutally murdered. They don't talk about that. Cosby saw that friendship is like he lost a son, and that hurts. And people don't understand when you say bad things about people. Bill Cosby literally has to bury another son to him, even though it wasn't his natural son, but it was his son that was on TV and somebody he saw as a son, because there was never another Cosby Show after that. So he's got to now go and sit and bury a son again. And that's not something that's easy. Even all these cast members, they were still family to each other.
I remember I saw a post somebody posted, I don't know if it was TMZ, and Raven Simone, she was walking through the airport and they were all up in her face, asking her questions about his death and all that stuff. It's like, wait a minute. You may think that just because she wasn't blood related to this man, to Malcolm, they were family, and Cosby
family,
right? And so you don't show some respect.
They can't.
I mean, come on now. One of the things I remember years ago, Malcolm posted on X, was Twitter at the time, and he posted a picture of his father and Bill Cosby together in a picture, and he said, two of my fathers. One that taught me financial father, and the other one taught me life. And of course, Bill Cosby taught him about finances, and his father taught him about being a man. And so that's one of his things. That's how he saw Bill Cosby. Cosby encouraged Malcolm to direct, and how he could get paid as being a director, so he was encouraging him being a director for one of the Cosby shows. And so that's one of the things. And even when Cosby went through his situation a couple of years back, people started criticizing Malcolm Felicia Rashad or anybody who was part of the cast of the Cosby criticize him because they say, "Oh, you're defending him." I mean, it's like, how can you say something when and it's like this is so, it's just bad. It's a bad situation all around.
Yeah, and you're already seeing Keisha Knight pulling him. This is 5 days ago. She's already. I mean, these cast members see Bill Cosby as a father figure. They may not be blood relatives.
Right.
They weren't going to stand and stab their father's type figure in the back. They respected him because, for one, and then they know who gave them their blessings and start. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna, why would you dishonor the man or woman that got you started? Because hadn't that been for Cosby, we wouldn't know who Keisha Knight Pulliam is, Malcolm Jamal Warner, what's her name? None of them. Raven Simone came out of there. They're not going to set up here. They're not going to set up here and disparage the man.
Even when Lisa Bonet went through her issues, he brought her back. Mm-hmm. They had to set her aside for a minute, but he brought her back. So even then, you can't. Black people always want to bring down black people, but when it comes to white people, they were uplift and give them a pass.
Right, Raven looked kind of old there, but anyway, but that's Raven. Everybody, no matter which way they went in life, they all stuck together. They were a family. That's the key. They understand.
I think we're hard on ourselves.
We want to destroy people. The reason I'm spending a lot of time on Malcolm is because Malcolm was our childhood, Gen X. That Ozzie Osbourne, I knew about Ozzie growing up. I knew about Ozzie in high school. Everybody loved Ozzie. Hulk Hogan, we all loved Hulk Hogan. But something about Malcolm Jamal Warner, my room was just like his room. Mm-hmm. When Bill Cosby showed Malcolm's room, my bedroom was just like his, toe up, stuff stacked up to the ceiling. But at the end of the day, one of the things I can say that Malcolm Jamal Warner did a really good job at doing, he shielded his family. They said, we don't even know who his children are. He kept his family out of the spotlight. And one of the things, sadly, he passed away in a riptide. I just found out it was a riptide at the ocean. One of the worst, basically I would say undertow. That's one of the worst ways, messing around in that environment. And, we had to go on ahead. We lost 5 people. I forgot who the other 5 were, but these are the 3 that really stuck out.
These are, you're talking about, these are 80s. This is the
80s. This is the 80s. This is Generation X, which we are. This is who we know. Hulk Hogan.
Even they were talking about Ozzie because they're saying they were racist. Sharon was racist. I'm like, his wife. I'm like,
who isn't racist?
I say any off-color remarks that you say. You're talking about the rock music. You're talking about everybody in the rock has said some form of something towards black people because and that's what they got their muse from. So yeah, they said crazy stuff back then, but we all kind of moving on.
We all understand that everybody has a form. We as black folk, we have a form of racism. Yeah, I'm admitting it. We will say things and don't realize that we're being racist. But anyway, it's just been one of these sad weeks, just to see last weekend and see we lost some people who didn't get to see the rest. Ozzie and Hulk Hogan were older. They're more seasoned. Malcolm being just getting ready to turn 55 soon. That right there was really his birthday. Wow. His birthday is the same day as my grandma's. And August 18th. So just to see him not see his birthday, that right there.
Not even
and for his children. Just pray for him because his children. We don't know how old the children are. He was in Costa Rica.
Well, no, what it was, his daughter was 8. And they said they both were in the water together. They were in, and 2 surfers saw them. So one of the surfers were able to get the daughter onto his surfboard, put her to shore. But by the time they put Malcolm on the shore and tried to administer CPR, it was over. They said a lifeguard and the surfer tried to get him off the water, and by the time they got him off the water, it was already over.
Yeah.
He lost his life there on the beach.
Yep. Riptides, which basically is like once you get stuck in it, it's almost like the only way I can say is you're in the washing machine tumbling and you can't really get out of it. It's a situation that
Speaking of which, I mean, we were going over, we were talking about the riptide and washing machine. I don't know if you saw on the social where a man got caught in an MRI machine. And
I heard about that.
And he had like a 20-pound chain, metal chain around his neck. Why he had a 20-pound metal chain around his neck? I mean, who knows? I don't know. But what happened, they were like, well, shouldn't have been something, he ran into it. So the way I read the story is that his wife had to do an MRI. Okay, so she was already in a wheelchair, she couldn't walk because I guess he had it because of her leg, I don't know. So he was there to help her to calm her down in order to get into the MRI. So then he stood outside. Now he was already outside. So when the MRI was going, she started to panic. And so she was crying and screaming. So he decided he wanted to run in there and grab her to calm her down, but they tried to stop him before he can go in there. And so that's what happened. He rushed in there, and then that's when he got pulled into the machine. So that's how it happened. So when the workers tried to go in there, they couldn't do nothing. So they had to power it down. Now, what I don't know, which somebody mentioned, they said it should have been like a stop button, like we are in treadmill. There should be like a stop button. Did they have a stop button? Did they what took him so long? It seemed like once he went in the room, the machine itself should have powered itself down. Who knows? Now, this is not in a hospital. Now, I had to have an MRI done.
I had one too.
And
like that machine.
And one of the things, when you walk in, it's just like a metal detector. So when you first walk in, it detects any metal before even the thing even starts. So again, that's how they're supposed to be. So it does detect. And they were like, so they said, well, I had like a rubber band in my hair. It wasn't even, it was like a squingy rubber, it's like a squingy band. And they're like, well, there's any metal in it? I said, no, I don't think there's any metal in it because it's just a rubber. They said, well, I guess if it was, it would have went off, but they had me still take it off. So they took it. I mean, okay, whatever. I mean, I'd rather have it off of my head than, but they still had me take it off. So the safeguards, I think that's where it should have been. It's the safeguard. Because what happened was he got caught and he started twisting inside the MRI. He started flipping and they were just sitting, they couldn't do nothing until the machine powered itself down. Mm-hmm. So it just seems like the safeguard, where was that safeguard? Even if that did happen, even if he did run in there without, and then why was the door even unlocked? First of all, it should have been locked, making sure that that he wasn't able to run in there. But again, that's the safeguard. You shouldn't, that's one of the things where, and he was only there just in order to help her out of the machine and put her into the wheelchair in order to wheel her out.
Yeah, I'm trying to, his last name is McAllister. So, I'm looking at some of my family members who are the same last name to verify. But yeah.
So that's one of those things when we talk about that. I think they need to take a look at the safeguards and were there safeguards put in place? And it was a private MRI, so it wasn't a hospital. This was a private MRI.
Those are the ones. Those MRI centers that you see that you drive by and you see them. Yeah, those are the ones that basically the ones that you gotta. They have different procedures than the other ones. But anyway, on a lighter note, my cousin. Sometimes you just gotta. See, we're Gen X, and this is something my cousin posted, and it's true. He found 4 reasons we aren't soft and offended by everything. Fred Sanford, Archie Bunker, George Jefferson, and the father from Good Times.
Now, the father
Evans,
from Good
Mr.
Times,
Evans.
I don't think he wasn't as bad. He wasn't like that.
No, I wouldn't put right, but he was. But I would say Fred, Fred, and, oh Lord, Archie Bunker.
And this is all Norman Lear. These
Yeah,
are all his shows.
That's all his shows.
These are all his shows. These are all Norman Lear.
I would say Archie and Fred Sanford. You put them together. Now, the fun fact: Archie Bunker gave us the Jeffersons, and somewhere in there, Archie Bunker also gave us Good Times. I think because Good Times is they're all only one that's not a spinoff is Sanford and Son.
Good Times somewhere.
She worked for Archie. The mother worked for Archie, and then the Jefferson somehow he was neighbors with Archie,
right?
And then, but the only one that did not come from the chronological from Archie's for the bunker, All in the Family, was Fred Sanford. All those the 3 on the bottom are all from their spinoffs from Archie Bunker, the most racist character on TV. You want to know racism? All in the Family, you can't play that today. I don't even think they air it because 2 people are too sensitive. I mean, I'm surprised you play Sanford and Son.
Where do you think you got? What do you call that one called? Will and Grace. Where do you think the Karen came from?
Yeah, I mean, look, these shows back in what we grew up in the 70s. We were young, but the 70s and 80s.
Karen was universal. She
hated everybody. Will and Grace, that's where Karen came from. Yeah, she was some kind of special. But anyway, we always had, that's one of the things I wanted to end on, something positive, something funny, just, scrolling through, trying to check some stuff out. But yeah, there's something about our generation. We are a whole different breed. I'm not on social because I don't like the stress. I got enough of this gray. I'm trying to, get taken out. But anyway, let's do this. Let's do our final remarks here. We want you to watch us on Facebook Live. We're not on live that much anymore because the policies on Facebook changed. So we'll upload these videos there at Garrison House Podcast. So join us on Facebook. You can also get us on Spotify, Garrison House Podcast, Apple Podcasts. We're on there, Garrison House Podcast. We are on Amazon, I think, Garrison House Podcast. So we're on a lot of different platforms on our audio.
And you watch us on Cashmere TV, as you're probably watching us now. On
7 p.m. every Sunday
on CashmereTV.com. If you go to our website, you'll see our platforms where we are. You can see all my platforms. I explained to Angie's Drama Room. If you like to come YouTube, I'm free and open for subscription. Subscribe to my channel.
Please subscribe to her channel.
I appreciate it. And yeah.
And for those who are going to be soon watching us on WLPC soon, as our channels are being put up there, we're going to welcome them when that launches. But anyway, I'm Darnell.
I'm Angela.
And we'd like to thank you for watching
Garrison House.
See you on Prayer Guard tomorrow. We didn't mention that either.
Yes.
See you at 7 p.m. Prayer Guard. That was kind of heavy.